I'm Karen Bierlin, and a warm welcome to all of you. I'm the chair for House of Friendship. And on behalf of our board and members, I want to shout out, welcome to House of Friendship's new ShelterCare location. We are so excited that you've joined this morning despite the weather. You know, this facility was purchased more than a year ago. And since then, extensive renovations have been made to meet the unique needs of those who will be living here. Those experiencing chronic homelessness and high physical, addiction, and mental health needs. That combination is very important. It's shelter and care. The kind of innovation represented here does not happen without a strong commitment to working together. Something I'm so proud to say our community does very, very well. Together with partners, ShelterCare will serve 100 individuals with on-site integrated housing and healthcare supports that they need to become healthier and housed and exit the cycle of homelessness for good. Thank you to each one of you for joining House of Friendship in this visionary work, as together we make Waterloo Region a place where everyone can belong and thrive. And on that note, we look forward to hearing from a number of our government partners who have been vital to making this ShelterCare dream possible. And I'd like to begin by inviting MPP Mike Harris to share a few words.
I'm pretty excited for today. I don't know about you guys. Listen, I had a big long speech prepared, and then I thought, well, the weather's a little bit wonky today, so maybe I'll just kind of say it a little bit more from the heart, because I think today really warrants that. I've been part of this process now for the last, what, John, probably close, well, 2 years, about 2 years. John called me about 2 years ago, and he said, Mike, we want to build out this new program. We want to look at a new way of helping, and the results that they had seen, you know, starting as things had moved through the pandemic, of course, being at the Radisson before this, and just the outcomes that they were able to deliver for people here in the region were phenomenal. And it's been a labor of love, I will say. I like to tell the story that one day I was on the phone, I don't know, it might have been a Sunday night with John, and my wife was getting dinner ready upstairs, and she yells down, she says, Mike, you spend more time talking to John Neufeld than you do your own family. And, but being here today and being able to take part in this opening ceremony of the House of Friendship's new ShelterCare facility here makes it all worthwhile. We were able to deliver $8.5 million to the provincial government for this, which is, I think, unprecedented when it comes to looking at what we're looking at doing here and hopefully trying to replicate this across the province. I don't want to get too much into numbers today because it's not really about that, but when you total it all up, it's over $10 million that the provincial government has put into this program. Whether it be operating funds through the Roadmap to Wellness or the capital costs, which covered, I think, pretty close to half of what had to be done here. So it's phenomenal. Thank you, John, and your team. Of course, Jessica, you and I have gotten to know each other pretty well over the last little while, navigating what we were going to do here. But on behalf of course, myself, Minister Steve Clark, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and of course, Premier Ford, I'm very, very delighted to be able to stand here today and welcome you all to the new ShelterCare site here on Weaver Street. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now that is cooperation. And now I'm delighted to ask Chair Karen Redmond of the Region of Waterloo to come forward. Woo!
So it's a distinct pleasure to be here today, and I really need to acknowledge my colleagues Jim Erb Councillor in a hard hat and work boots with Ministers Clark and Tabolo. So it really has gotten ignited the interest of people at Queen's Park. And before I give my speech, I also want to give a shout out to staff at the House of Friendship and staff at the Region of Waterloo. John had a vision that he leaned into, and staff made it operational in a matter of weeks rather than years, which is what they were contemplating before the pandemic. So if there's a silver lining to the pandemic, I would tell you that this is evidence of what that kind of vision can be. This new facility will add much needed capacity in our region-wide housing system, providing health care and housing to support 100 individuals experiencing homelessness. It's referred to as House of Friendship ShelterCare facility. We know the issues involved are complex, and we see the effects of poverty, mental health issues, rising housing costs, and impacts of opioid crisis firsthand here in Waterloo Region. Time and time again, the care and compassion shown in our community is simply remarkable. This facility is one more example of how we're working together as an entire community to tackle the crisis of homelessness. We remain committed to working with community partners to deliver our long-term investments in affordable housing, our Building Better Futures plan, and it's on track with 1,154 homes created, including 247 housing units that are supportive. Work is underway in 2023 to see the use of regional surplus lands, partnerships, and incentives to keep this strategy on track. It is with continued determination and hard work of partners like the House of Friendship that we will find solutions to end chronic homelessness. We know that communities thrive when everyone has a place to call home. This new ShelterCare space gets us one step closer to that goal. I want to thank the partners here today for their collaboration and investment, and say stay tuned, because I know that if any community can tackle homelessness and come out on the right side of that, it will be this community. Waterloo Region truly is amazing.
It's interesting how that theme of cooperation and collaboration keeps coming up. We've got a lot to be grateful for. Thank you very much, Chair Redmond. And now I'm delighted to ask MP Bardish Jagger to come forward and share her comments.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Bardish.
Thank you, John. Good name it up. It's indeed an honor and a privilege to be here, and I bring greetings on behalf of the federal government. And I bring you a certificate, John, so be ready to accept it. It says, "Congratulations, House of Friendship, on the grand opening of ShelterCare. This is a tremendous milestone to have achieved, and the result of compassion, active listening, and hard work to overcome numerous obstacles. You should be very proud of the important part you play in supporting and strengthening our community. Accomplishments such as this are only made possible when there are dedicated people involved and working together. Your vision reveals the best of humanity and leadership, and your efforts are a testament to the values you foster. We are grateful to you and for the work that you do. On behalf of the constituents of the riding of Waterloo, thank you for providing necessary wraparound support services to people experiencing homelessness in the Waterloo region, and our best wishes in all of your future endeavors. Once again, congratulations on your grand opening. Please always know that you have a partner and a friend in me. And to the team at House of Friendship and the Waterloo Region, provincial government, this demonstrates when we all work together, we can really make stuff happen. So let's keep doing more of this, and let's make sure more communities benefit. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Bardish. And as we get closer to home territory, I'm very, very delighted to have Mayor Dorothy McKay come forward.
Hello, everyone. This is really indeed a really exciting day, not just for Waterloo Region, but certainly Waterloo as we open this amazing facility. So I did see, just after Karen's remarks, that Peter Sweeney, who's the Commissioner of Community Services at the Region, has joined us as well. And when we're giving a shout out and thanks to the staff involved, certainly Peter, in his new role, is instrumental in this project, but also some of the others that are going to be coming. So thank you, Peter, for joining us. I also want to just, before I begin my official remarks, welcome and introduce. We have, because we have to be careful of quorum, we have half of our council here from the city of Waterloo. We have Jen Bassick, who's the ward councillor in Ward 5, where this is situated. We have Councillor Mary Lou Rowe, who's Ward 6, whose ward touches everything, so she gets to come to everything. And we also have Ward 7 Councillor Julie Wright, who is just across the street. So we're really pleased to have them here. And certainly Councillor Mary Lou, Julie, and myself are new to council, and we would be remiss if we didn't, recognize another individual who's here, who Karen also mentioned already, but I don't see him right now. But there he is. Oh, there he is, Dave Jaworski. It slopes down, so I can. Former Mayor Dave Jaworski. So I get to stand up here and look like I'm taking credit for all the work that Dave and Tim Anderson, our CAO, and others have done on council with John Neufeld and his team before me. But do really want to say a warm shout out and thank you to Dave for his work in shepherding this to the point where we're at today. So thank you so much. And to echo a bit of what Bardish just said, this kind of an event and this kind of facility really demonstrates what we can do when the different levels of government all work together. And I think this is something that we do well in Waterloo and Waterloo Region, and something that we need to continue to do more of course, because we know of the numerous challenges that are out there. So we know that this hasn't been a very direct path to get here today, but what's most important is that we are here today. It's taken patience and great leadership from John and members of his board. And we all know, as Karen mentioned, how important and how integral the House of Friendship and the work they do are to serving individuals in need of shelter in our city. I really do love the name of the facility, ShelterCare, because I think it really encapsulates and sets the right tone, that this is a place where people can come, they can stay, they can feel comfortable, and that they'll know that they'll be treated with care and with dignity. And that's really what people accessing this facility need. They need that support, they need care, they need comfort, and they need to be treated with respect and dignity. And really that's what House of Friendship represents, and I think this is a physical embodiment of your vision, so thank you. So whether it's addiction treatment, services, emergency food, housing, or neighborhoods, House of Friendship is an integral service provider and helping those in most need of our community. I really want to take a moment as the mayor here to welcome the staff that will be working out of this facility, and certainly let us know that our councillors and our city staff and myself are here to help support you as you sort of settle into the facility, and certainly want to extend a really warm welcome to the residents who will also become our neighbors in this community. I'm not done yet. No, we really want to offer a warm and sincere welcome to the neighborhood, and know that as you settle in here and as you build your life, we really hope that you find the support and the community that will help you. So welcome to everyone. Thank you so much. Congratulations. And we look forward to more good opportunities like this.
This partnership of different levels of government has brought together an incredible number of resources to make this possible. It is the heart that undergirds the decisions that were made, and it is the heart and the focus and the professionalism of the incredible staff here at House of Friendship that will give this opportunity to people who truly are living a difficult journey. This represents a new journey, and I cannot thank our staff at House of Friendship enough for their sacrifice, for their love, and for their commitment to making a true difference to people who need it. So thank you so much. And of course, you wouldn't have staff like that without a great leader. John, please come forward.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for coming. I know some grand openings, you invite like hundreds of people. We intentionally invited those of you here today. There's a reason all of you came here today, and I want to say a heartfelt thank you. You know, as our incredible elected officials have said, the building in front of you represents the best of Waterloo Region. What happens when we come together, when we work together, and you know, throw an incredible challenge at our community, and when we come together, we do great things. I know I'm about to do a fool's errand, and I know you should never try to thank people individually, because you inevitably forget the one person, and then they never talk to you ever again. So if you are that person here this morning, I'm going to apologize in advance. But this has been too much of a journey just to say a broad general thank you. So bear with me for a few minutes. I want to re-traumatize all of you and take you back to March 19, 2020. Many of us here today were actually in the same Zoom call. The Region of Waterloo Emergency Task Force Response, what was that called, Bruce? Where we met every day and we had all these areas. I know, he's too traumatized to even remember the name of that. And we were sitting in that meeting, and as I'm sitting in that meeting, Jessica Bondi, our incredible housing director, starts texting me, and she's saying, John, we've got a massive problem. We got 4 gentlemen who aren't doing well. Public health is telling us to isolate. Now remember, this is like right at the beginning of the pandemic. We didn't know isolation, masks, vaccinations, none of this. We were all completely overwhelmed. And I was panicking and trying to think, like, what are we gonna do? We've got 51 guys stuck in this small little house on Charles Street. And we got a little note from the Radisson Hotel saying, how can we help? What we didn't realize was what that would lead to. And I called the Radisson immediately, and I'll never forget their response when I said, we need to move our whole shelter into your hotel. And their response immediately was, the rooms will be ready for you tomorrow morning. And what we didn't count on was that there was an angel living at the Radisson Hotel, and that angel's name is Nancy Kaiser. Nancy, can you please wave to everybody? Nancy never had the privilege of working with our characters before as much in her industry, but the hospitality that she extended to our guys and our team is the reason we're here today. Her kindness, her compassion allowed us to pilot ShelterCare in a time where we didn't think that was possible. And the way she treated the gentleman at that time, and then she allowed us to open up a little medical clinic in the basement that many of you walked through. And that was really the beginning of ShelterCare. And so the story that I'm gonna just kind of share a little bit here with you is the story of how when all of us just do our part, we can make incredible things happen. It's not on any of us. And so it started there. And I won't go through the gory details of what happened after, but as all of you know, we moved a few hotels after that, and we ended up in Guelph for way longer than any of us thought. We thought we'd be there a month or 2, and 2021 was probably the lowest point for us, for me personally. We went and tried to find a different location, and every door we knocked on was closed. And it was a good reminder that when you serve the unwell and the unwanted, you don't really, not many people want you around. And it was really demoralizing and a tough time for us. And after getting no, we received a phone call from a friend of ours, from Stephen Lett, who said, hey, listen, I've been chatting with the owners of Comfort Inn. What if we use this property to do some good in our community? And that began the journey. My first phone call was to Ryan Petitpierre at the Region, Director of Housing, and I've never forgotten that phone call, because Ryan immediately got the idea, got the vision, he didn't say, no, that's crazy, don't even pursue it. He just said, let's look at it, let's pursue it, let's get some more information. And I know Ryan couldn't be with us here today, but a huge thank you to Ryan. Next phone call was to Jaworski and Tim Anderson. And I said, what do you think if we did this in your community? There's this great hotel. And I don't know what they were really thinking, but to my face, they're like, we would love to have ShelterCare in our city. ShelterCare is a great model. We would love to have it here. And Dave and Tim have been relentless in crossing a lot of challenges and barriers to having us here. So thank you, Dave, thank you, Tim. To Bruce Lochner. I was just telling Bruce last night, I was going through some emails through that horrendous period, and you know, Bruce would say, don't give up, and then another time I would tell him not to give up, and he also got the vision and said, we got to try to figure out how to do this. But at times the barriers just felt too much, and it wasn't going to work. And then Karen stepped in and also just provided incredible support, brought counsel on, and said we got to try to figure out how to do this. So I just want to say a huge thank you for the emails, for the support during that very, very difficult time. And then things started looking up, and then it was all of a sudden going to all fall apart. And on Sunday, October the 3rd at 2021, Sunday, October 23rd, 2021 at 12:48 p.m., I sent out this email. Mike, I'm going to frame this actually and maybe put it in your office. I won't tell you what I wrote in the email to MPP Harris. What I will tell you is that at 12:50, my phone was ringing and Mike was on the phone saying, we got to figure it out. Let me see what I can do. And that really started the ball rolling. And Mike, thank you. And a bigger thank you to your wife for allowing me to spend so much quality time with you. January 12th, a year ago, many of you were here. We celebrated the purchase, and we thought this was a major milestone. Little did we know how much work we had ahead of us. How tricky could this be? It's already a hotel, you know, just make a few modifications and get going. I want to say a huge thank you, Bardish, where are you, for CMHC to coming on board really early on in the process and saying, we are going to back you on this. Let's help. CMHC wants to make sure that you can renovate it, do everything you need. And so that started the process for our federal partners helping with that. To our friends at Walter Fady, Ben, Al, to Nith Valley, Bob, Mitch, and Lynn, thank you for your hard work over the last year. I know it was not done in the most normal manner. Nith Valley was in here before we had any designs because they knew there was the pressure in the community. We wanted to do things as quick as possible, and I just thank you for your tireless efforts. You will all get a chance to get a tour after we're done all this, and I think you'll see the thoughtfulness in the design and the hard work that they've put in. So a huge thank you to Walter Fady and Nith. To our incredible community partners and the housing team at the Region of Waterloo who helped us design this, who took all their expertise, their experience, and their thoughtfulness, a huge shout out to them. To our first responders, Chief Rich Heptich is here, Chief Mark couldn't come out today, and our EMS partners also all came through here, and we said, how can we work with you? How do we design this building so that it works for you? And their input has been absolutely fabulous. Dorothy, you stole my thunder. Peter Sweeney as the commissioner. I want to say a huge thank you to Peter, who also provided a lot of support. The care and compassion that Peter brings to this kind of work and the ideas that he's brought forward in our community already. You know, it all started when he was still at the Y and texted me and said, hey, I've got this empty building. We're in the middle of a pandemic. What can we do? And he said, I know I'm going to regret sending you this text. And never did I imagine, Peter, we'd be here together and you doing this great work. So thank you for that, Peter. We're almost there. There's just a few people standing here and they're like, why hasn't John mentioned my name yet? So, to our neighbors here, Dorothy, thank you for welcoming us. And I got to tell you, our neighbors beat you to it. Mike Wright next door he brought all his tenants together, welcomed us here to the surrounding businesses, to the neighborhood associations. You know, they were a little bit nervous and concerned, but they asked the questions. We had those conversations. And I'm really happy on behalf of the neighbors today. We got Jason Schill. Where are you, Jason? I know you're trying to hide. Has anyone ever bought a card game at J&J's just down the street? So Jason and Natalie came and said, we want to be here, John, to represent the neighbors. We want you here. We want to work with you. And so when you get that kind of welcome from the neighbor, it sure means a lot. So a huge thank you to our neighbors. Oh, fire in the hole. CTV, don't put that on the news tonight. Okay, we're getting there. There were 3 donors that wanted to really be a part of this project. Toyota came right away. Where are you, Suzanne? Thank you so much to you and your team for getting behind this vision. Reslaw Mennonite, who, yes, I know they're providing you cookies and hot chocolate, but they also made a very significant donation here. And we've got Craig Herner here with his Hockey Helps the Homeless knits. Hockey Helps the Homeless has been supporting all of our shelters across Waterloo Region for the last number of years, and I just want to say a huge thank you for the support of this project as well. My last 2. To the House of Friendship Board. Listen, most normal boards, when the ED comes into the room and says, hey, I have an idea, I think we should buy a hotel, would promptly fire their ED, and that would be good due diligence. But they listened with compassion, with curiosity. We met very frequently and over, and I just want to say a huge thank you to Karen and Keith for your leadership during that time. Thank you. Have I missed anyone yet? Just put your hand up if I haven't. Listen, the last one, and I'm not going to do this in person or by name because we'd be here for the next 2 hours. And if I start saying names, I'm going to start crying. Is my team. We would not be here without them, folks. I would never want to go through a pandemic and everything we've gone through with any other people but them. The compassion, the determination, the perseverance, the things they did, I let them know that there was multiple times where I was ready to pack it in and give up. And then they just kept showing up. And I was like, well, if they're crazy enough to show up, maybe I can do it for another day. And this is how we trick each other at House of Friendship, to keep showing up. And I just can't thank you enough to all of you. I love you. Let's see what happens from here. So I'm going to end with this. The reason all of us are here today is we never forgot the why. Why all of you don't give up is the reason why you're here today. And we left the most important speaker, with all due respect to all of us who've already spoken, to last. Last year, I had the privilege of meeting Andy's dad, and he's standing there with Andy, and he thought he lost his son due to homelessness and addiction. And to see a father standing beside his son doing well, yeah, that's right, thanks, Andy, is what we would all want. If any of our uncles, brothers, any family of our any members of our family were struggling with addictions or homelessness, we would want them to have a place like this. This is why all of us are gathered here today, why we fought hard for this. We worked tirelessly. So, thank you for coming today. Andy, come on up.
Hello everybody, my name is Andy. It's hard to put words behind how I feel right now. It wasn't all that long ago that I was sitting on those steps. I first started my relationship with House of Friendship in 2015 with a bail supervision program. First time I'd ever been arrested, first time I ever had problems with the law. You know, I was married, had kids, had a great job, worked for the same company for almost 30 years. And little by little by little, I started losing all of that. When I realized how my life was taking a turn, I cut everyone out of my life that I knew so that I didn't drag them into my own personal hell. And I felt myself the House of Friendship. Lost. Didn't know what to do, where to go, or, you know. But the staff there were welcoming. You know, they never judged anybody there. A lot of people were there that didn't want to be there, like myself. A lot of people were there that had no idea how they got there, like myself. And that from late 2015 until 2019, November 4th, 2019, which was that was a bad day. I overdosed that day, living on the streets pretty much. If it wasn't for the House of Friendship, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be alive today. They, they fed me, they put a roof over my head. They offered services, from counseling to medical. In fact, medical staff is incredible. Dr. Parker, who is now my full-time doctor, she's incredible. There were times where she would keep me in her office and not even let me go until she knew I was okay, right? And I get random messages, back and forth from her. Saturdays, hey Andy, I haven't heard from you in a while. I just wanted to check to see how you're doing. Like, where do you get that? From a doctor of all things nowadays, right? So driving here today, when I drove down Weber Street, the corner of Weber and Victoria there, that little camp, I didn't stay there. I was living in Victoria Park at the time, back in those days. But it really, coming here today, driving past that, knowing that, some of the people that are in there, I know, we used to hang out and support each other. Coming here and seeing this, it's just, it's incredible to see what the House of Friendship is doing for the people out there, To put something like this together is it's a dream come true for people that are out there, There's a lot of people that like myself, actually, there's no reason why I should have been homeless. I came from a really good family. Said I had a job, everything is just, as my life went on, my usage kept going and going and going, and I always thought I had it under control until I didn't. And I found myself there in those stairs. So, John and everybody at the House of Friendship, thank you very much for saving my life and all the work and the hard work you guys put into the community to help people. It's incredible. You're angels, all of you. So with that, I say congratulations. Thank you very much.
Andy's dad, I'm sorry, I don't want to embarrass you, but I think you had a very important medical appointment this morning that you canceled just to be with us, so thank you for that. And Andy's best friend Bobby, thank you for coming to support your buddy and that. So, folks, I know you're freezing to death. And I know you're like, where's the ribbon? Where's the big scissors? We're not gonna do that. We're gonna do something a little bit different. All of you here today have been the key to making this happen. The key represents the dignity and hope for the keys that all the folks walking through these doors will get. And it also represents how key you've been to making this happen. So, before you run off into your tour, I want you guys to all gather, and we're gonna just stand there. I'm gonna come back with you, and I want everyone in the picture with the key as part of our official grand opening. Thank you so much. This picture's gonna come back to haunt me. What's that 80s movie where he's holding the ghetto blaster over his head, folks? That's what I feel like right now. All right, and then after, with some of our elected officials, if we can grab some shots with you and the key as well. And then for those of you who aren't going to be in any of the photos and want to, you could probably go in after we get the grand photo, and we'll start touring you through. Thank you, heartfelt thank you to each one of you. If I forgot to mention you, please just take me off to the side and let me know kindly. Thank you so much for coming here. Let's grab a group shot together.